Hi, and welcome to my ultimate Mac setup video guide that will literally change the way you use your Mac. It doesn't matter whether you have the latest cutting-edge M1 chip-based Mac or you own an Intel-based older version of Mac, because no laptop comes straight out of the box optimized for maximum productivity and performance. But there are things we can do to make it and improve the experience. Tips and tweaks you can do as soon as you turn on your Mac. At the end of this video, I've put together some of my personal favorite tips that you may want to consider using as well, that made my life easier on Mac. Most of these tips and recommendations also apply to older Mac computers. But before you watch this video, it took me so much time and effort to make this video. All I'm asking is to like this video, comment so that others can learn something from it as well, and subscribe to my channel so I know that you're interested in more videos like this. Some of these tips I've done for years. You can bookmark this video as a guide whenever you set up a new Mac or switching to a different Mac. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so if you're looking at the screen, then your Mac already started. But if you're setting up your Mac for the first time, I highly suggest to start fresh. After setting up your Mac, sign into your Apple ID. You can do that in a booting process or when your Mac has booted. To sign into your Apple ID, click on Apple logo. You can see that mine is already signed in. Check for system updates, install if there are any updates available, and restart your Mac. The very next thing you should do is activate or enable Tap to Click feature. For that, go to System Preferences, open Touchpad, and enable Tap to Click feature. If your Mac has a Touch ID or fingerprint sensor, go ahead and add your fingerprint. Mine doesn't have. Alternatively, if you have a more recent version of Mac, you can set up Unlock with Apple Watch. This is done the same way as Touch ID. Again, mine doesn't have. If you don't actively use Hey Siri command, you can disable it to preserve battery power. We can still use Siri, but we don't necessarily need to say Hey Siri command, so we can disable it. One of the most important things that you need to change on your Mac is enabling 3-finger drag. For that, go to System Settings, Accessibility, Pointer Control, and Trackpad Options, and this is where you enable it. By default on macOS, the trackpad speed isn't always set to the optimum speed. To change it, go to Trackpad and change the speed as you like. If you have a trackpad, Mac comes with a lot of pre-built gestures. They are helpful, but they are gestures that we don't actually use, so we can disable those gestures that we don't use. Sometimes they improve the speed of the trackpad and workflow. To disable unnecessary gestures, navigate to Trackpad and untick any gesture that you don't use. Usually I deselect Smart View, App Expose, and Notification Center. If you use more than one language, you can add it by going to System Preferences, Language and Region, and add it using the plus sign. If your Mac has a touch bar, you can customize the icons that appear on the touch bar by going to System Preferences, Keyboard, and you can customize the icons there. By default in Mac, the battery percentage indicator isn't displaying. To display it, go to System Preferences, Dock and Menu, and check Battery Percentage option. There are many browsers that you can download and install for your Mac, but the best one for your Mac is Safari. You can set Safari as your default browser by going to General and set Safari as your default browser. If your scrolling direction isn't working the way you want, you can customize it by going to System Preferences, Mouse, and change it. By default, your Mac might have a strange name that's given by the setup assistant. To change it, go to System Preferences, Sharing, and give it a name. When keeping things organized, it's best to keep folders on the top when sorting. To change it, go to Finder, Preferences, Advanced tab, and check Keep Folders on Top option. If you got used to performing searches using the current directory, you can change it on Mac by going to Finder, Preferences, and select Search the Current Folder option. You can assign or pin any desired directory or file to the sidebar of your Finder. To do it, just drag and drop the desired directory to the sidebar of your Finder. I'll drag my user folder and assign it to the sidebar. You can set default apps for your specific file formats. To do it, go to System Preferences, General, and here you can set default apps for your specific file types such as browser, media player, and so on. To get more information of the current directory in Finder, enable Status Bar by going to View and Enable Status Bar. And now we can see that on the bottom of the Finder, there are 4 files and 70 gigabytes available. If you are using multiple monitors, you can configure display resolution by going to System Preferences, Display, and set the most optimum resolution for your monitor. If you are sitting in front of your computer days and nights, changing between light and dark mode can be a good option for you. To change it, go to System Preferences, General, and select between dark and light theme as you wish. By default, Mac comes with a lot of pre-built apps, some of which we never use. To delete unwanted apps, navigate to About this Mac, Storage, Manage, and Open Applications. And click on Open Applications again. And here you can delete any unwanted app. And there you can delete any unwanted app from your Mac. By default, your iCloud service comes with a lot of pre-enabled features that you don't really use. To disable those, navigate to System Preferences, Apple ID, iCloud, and untick any service that you're not using. I'll deselect Photos, Contacts, and any other feature that I'm not using. If you just set up your Mac, your dock can be messed with a lot of apps and icons. You can easily change, add or remove icons from your dock by going to Options and Remove. The same way you can add apps and change the appearance of your dock by going to Options as well. Alternatively, you can add apps or icons to your dock the same way. You can just simply drag and drop it. If you just set up your Mac, your Finder might have unnecessary icons and files that's assigned to the sidebar of your Finder. To customize it, navigate to Finder and remove any unnecessary icons that you will not be using. I'll remove tags, and I'll also add links to the sidebar of my Finder to make it easier to navigate to the most used directories. Sometimes it's really helpful to have a hard drive link in your desktop. To create it, navigate to Finder, Preferences, General, and check this option and you'll have a hard drive link in your desktop. For some people, it's really important to change or set how quickly your Mac locks. To change it, navigate to System Preferences, Security and Privacy, and this is where you set or change it. And it will ask you to enter your password and confirm by entering your password, and you're all set. I don't have any external keyboard connected at this moment, but if you do, you can navigate to System Preferences, Keyboard, and there you can set or change default keyboard for your Mac. Hot corners is one of the best features on Mac that I'm always using, that I always enable when I set up a new Mac or when I change my Mac. To enable it, navigate to System Preferences, Desktop and Screensaver, and at the right hand side bottom you'll see hot corners. Click on it and here you'll have 4 options. You can set specific locations or specific actions for each corner. I usually enable Show My Desktop when I hover over the right hand side bottom of my screen, but you can set all 4 of them if you wish. If your Mac supports True Tone technology, you can enable it by going to Display Settings in System Preferences and enable it there. Night shift mode is one of the most useful options if you are working days and nights. To enable it, navigate to System Preferences, Display, and you can activate it here if your Mac supports it. My 2015 Mac does support the night shift mode, but I'm using an external monitor at this moment, so this monitor doesn't support the night shift mode. Universal Control provides alternative features such as using your keyboard as a mouse and lots of more. You can activate any Universal Control feature by going to Accessibility, and there you can find Universal Control and you can enable or play around with these features as you like. When working with files in Finder, it's always best to know where you are located. To enable Path in Finder, go to View and enable Show Path. And at the bottom of the Finder, you'll always see the path of where you are located. If your desktop is messed with a lot of files of different formats, it's sometimes best to use stacks. This will automatically organize your files into their own bins. This will expand each bin when you click on them, and the same way you can collapse them. If you are constantly using Safari as your default browser, it's best to customize the start page right off the bat. To customize the start page of your Safari, go to Safari, Preferences, and in General tab, change the home page to whatever you like. In macOS, you can add abbreviations, so that when you type several keys, the text will expand or fill out for you. To do it, navigate to System Preferences, Keyboard, and in Text tab you can add whatever shortcut to whatever text that you like. In Safari, it's best practice to enable status bar of your page. To do it, open Safari, navigate to View tab, and enable status bar. If you are a developer, it's also the best practice to enable developer mode in Safari. To do it, navigate to Preferences, Advanced, and at the very bottom you can see Show Developer menu. Just enable it. If your dock already has too many items, you can disable Show Recent Applications on dock by going to Dock Settings and untick Show Recent Applications in dock. If the size of the dock isn't appealing to you, you can change the size of it by dragging up and down, or you can do it in Dock Settings. Aside from changing the size of the dock, you can also customize the position of it. To change the position, click the right mouse button and change the position to whatever left, bottom, or right. For people who don't have to be constantly looking at the dock, it would be best to set automatically hide the dock so that when you hover over the mouse it will appear and hide when you move the cursor away. To enable this feature, again go to Dock Options, and right below Animate Opening Options you can see Automatically Hide and Show the Dock. Just check the option. The same thing you can do with the menu bar that's appearing on the very top of the screen. Just go to Dock Options again. And at the very bottom of the screen you can see Automatically Hide and Show the menu bar. In macOS, it's really easy to set whatever icon to whatever folder you like. Just go to any website and find an icon, right-click on Folder, Get Info, and you can see the default icon. Just drag and drop whatever icon to the default icon and it will change. Alright guys, those were my favorite tips and tricks that you should be definitely using when you are just getting started with Mac or switching to a new Mac. If I missed something, please let me know in the comment section below, and I really appreciate it. And just stay tuned, stay subscribed for more videos like this, and I'm constantly working on making these videos better. Just as a bonus trick, as I promised, on any Mac keyboard there's this key which is called FN key that's on the very left hand side bottom. For some people this key might perform an important action, but I don't see much use of that key, so what I did was I reassigned the command key to the FN key so that whenever I work with my PC environment, for those of you who are coming from the PC, pretty much all the combinations that are done on PC using the control, so I try to make them as similar as possible, so I reassigned the command key to that FN key because I don't much use the FN key that comes by the default, so I made just 2 command keys on my keyboard. That's it. Definitely let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. I would be happy to hear a response from you. And thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Stay subscribed, stay productive. And by the way, I'm also making a video on the best apps for productivity that I'm using. And if you're interested in that, please let me know in the comment section below as well. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.